Hello and welcome back to the Eagle-Gryphon Games vlog, and this week we'll interview an artist that creates board game art creations using game components. We'll follow that by sneak peeks of a new edition of Pergamon and the two upcoming Defenders of the Realm expansions. In the Eggs from the Vault segment, we'll give you a quick overview of a worker placement game where you're a master artisan in the large town in medieval China, and then we'll finish it off with a game giveaway. But first, let's update you on a current and upcoming Kickstarter project. The Railways of the World Expansion's Kickstarter campaign for Railways of Sweden, Railways of Australia, and Rail Barons of the World wraps up in less than 24 hours from when this video's launched. Each backer that pledges $29 or more during the Kickstarter campaign will receive a free copy of the Ice Player components, so be sure to pledge now before the end of the campaign. A quick reminder that our next Kickstarter campaign will be for On Mars Alien Invasion, and it's coming July 15th. Katia Howatson is an avid board game enthusiast and artist who creates detailed and finely crafted board game imagery using components found in board games themselves. She has a Kickstarter campaign coming up for a calendar of some of her artwork. Let's welcome in Katia Howatson.
I first started, it was over a year ago now, almost a year and a half ago. And I started with, I used to make these posts where it was, guess the board game components, like what game they're from. And when COVID started, gamers seemed to be really, on the same, like everybody seemed to have the same feeling of, this sucks, we can't get together with our gaming group. So it was just sort of like something that I thought I would do for fun, was to make, an image out of board game components. And then I thought, I'll post that and see if people can guess the components that the games are from. And it was just sort of a way to try and brighten, the Facebook feed, at least in our group in Board Game Revolution. So that's where I post most of my stuff. So it was sort of a way to, it's just something positive for people to look at, because everybody was kind of depressed with the situation around the globe. So that's how I started. And then eventually it sort of grew from there, because I started making logos of, I made the Board Game Shot logo, which is Mateus, who's an excellent photographer of board games. So I made his logo just for fun. And then at some point, Gamelin Games approached me to do their logo and to do a giveaway. So we ran that on Instagram, and then it got me more followers, and it slowly built from there, where I created more images. And I also make mandalas, which I'll use whatever components, and then I make it, it's something symmetrical, and I make that I make those just for fun. But that's sort of how it started. And I would say that, things grew more, like, faster, and people seem to appreciate the art form more than I anticipated. So it's really heartwarming to see the reaction that people have to the art that I make. My art pieces take between 7 to 10 hours now. They used to take a lot less time, because I had less game components to work with, so my creations were smaller in size, whereas now I have a much larger collection, so I have a lot more pieces to choose, more game boxes to open. I have, spare parts that publishers have sent, so I have a lot more to work with, so I'm able to do a bigger piece and something that's more detailed. So that's why I would say, yeah, it's usually between 7 and 10 hours because of size. And I tend to do, I mean, I've done some logos that, like publisher logos, that are pretty detailed. They have some thin lines and, you know, small parts to them. So when I start to make those, when I lay things out on the table, I have to start looking at what is the smallest piece of detail in the art piece and then basically work from there so that everything is proportional, especially when I'm working with a logo, right? So because of that, sometimes when a logo has some fine details, it ends up being really, really big. So those pieces can take, yeah, I would say 10 hours max, but I mean, I'm sure I've gone beyond that. And that doesn't include the prep time of opening some game boxes and looking for specific components because, you know, if I'm working on a logo and I know what colors I'm going to need, then I will try and prep a lot of it ahead of time. And then I will, you know, go in and fetch more pieces as I go. So yeah, I would say that doesn't include prep time and it doesn't include takedown either or editing because I do some editing in Photoshop. Partly because my setup the way that it is, my the lights that I use really show the little dust particle and little hair and little, you know, things you don't want on the image, and especially with the black background, that stuff just comes right out because of the white lights that shine down. So I, you know, in Photoshop I will edit and erase all of these little kind of particles and make it clean. So yeah, I mean, I spend probably a couple hours editing. So maybe like it might be more like a 12-hour, you know, 10 to 12-hour total for a process, like for the process of doing a logo or an art piece. So yeah, it's pretty time consuming, but I enjoy every minute of it. So. I have 2 units for spare parts that publishers have sent me, where basically it's like little drawers, almost like hardware, you know, like little cubbies for hardware. And then I put the components by color in there. So I have 2 of those that I've purchased, but otherwise, and you can't see this now because I, you know, purposefully didn't show you the mess that's in my game room, but my game room lately has been just a mess of open boxes and baggies everywhere, and so it's not very organized. When I make the art piece, however, I have little containers and things like that I just, you know, like I'll pour things in there so that it's ready to go instead of constantly having to dig in baggies. But when things slow down, I mean, right now I'm preparing for the Kickstarter, so I'm in sort of a rush of trying to get a lot of art pieces done. But when things slow down, I'm able to put games back on the shelf and put things away. It just hasn't been like that in the past couple months. But yeah, I would say I'm not as organized as I would like to be. But yeah. I would say I want to continue doing art, like board game mosaics, as long as I can, really. Like I love doing it. Um, it's really become a passion for me, and my goal is to, and I started last year and I just haven't gone around to finishing it, but my goal is to put some merchandise on a website so that people can order things and, you know, not necessarily have to wait for a Kickstarter. I do want to continue doing the calendar as long as people will want to purchase it. And I would like to maybe the plan was that when con season would resume, I would hopefully be able to attend and, sell a couple things there. Or, what I would like to see is maybe go to cons and partner with publishers and make, art pieces live there so that people can see the process. That would be really, really cool. I don't know the logistics of that, but that's an idea that has been floated around that I think would be really, really neat for people to be able to see how I work. But yeah, and I mean, aside from that, I do plan on starting some game design. There's a couple people that I've talked to that would like to potentially work on stuff together. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm heading from here. I mean, this has definitely become more time consuming in a good way. I spend more time doing that than, my day job these days. So it's, it's a work of passion, and I'm really, really grateful for all of those that support me and back the Kickstarter, because it allows me to be able to do this more and spend more time creating art, which is really what I love to do. So
Pergamon is a game for 2 to 4 players about excavating archaeological discoveries and then managing their exhibition in the Pergamon Museum. This new edition of Pergamon features 6 brand new artifact tiles that add new ways of earning income and scoring more victory points. We're also including the new Traders mini expansion to the game from designer Stefan Dora. The Traders expansion introduces more player interaction, as players will now have the opportunity to buy or sell artifacts from another player. Defenders of the Realm Companions and Catacombs is one of the 2 upcoming Defenders of the Realm expansions. It features new dungeons for players to explore, as well as legendary relics which wield powerful abilities. Defenders of the Realm Companions and Catacombs will be available for pre-order on June 24th. Zong Shi is a worker placement resource management game where you're a master artisan in a large town in medieval China trying to impress the townsfolk. Each player has a master and an apprentice that they'll be sending out to do some work. Like going to the marketplace to get bronze, gold, ivory, and jade, and the masters get to choose first before any apprentices get theirs. Or maybe you go to the pawn shop to gain one of these exchange tokens by turning in the goods, and for the rest of the game, I can make ivory jade or jade ivory, and my master can do this as much as he can afford, but the apprentice can only do it once. And exchanging comes in really useful because you'll be using certain amounts of different goods in order to start different projects. But it cost me 4 jade in order to start this project, or I could have exchanged some ivory, but it's going to take my master 3 rounds in order to complete this project. So each round of players placing their master and placing their apprentice, they'll be moving down this track, completing the project once they get to 0, and gaining this, which is going to be 4 points in the end, but it also gives you a special ability, like I can use 1 fewer jade to construct anything for the rest of the game, which will come in really useful for a masterwork like this that will take 4 time but give me 8 huge points. Or maybe you make a respectful visit, gaining a bonus ability to use, plus giving in certain amount of goods. 1 visit's 1 point and a double for each other visit you're able to make throughout the game. Or you can go to the temple to get different scrolls that do different things, like allowing my apprentice to get all of the abilities that master has that round. Since some spots can only be visited by your master, and all spots work differently between your apprentice and your master, you really have to figure out which one to place where for the best strategy. The game ends when one player has done 6 projects, and you'll count up all the points from the projects, the respectful visits, some of the exchange tokens, and leftover resources. Whoever has the most is the winner. And the game has beautiful components and a great insert to hold everything in place. Zong Shi is for 3 to 5 players, takes 60 to 90 minutes to play, is for ages 13 and up, and available now. So click the link below to be brought right to the product page. I just gave you a quick overview of Zong Shi, and today we're giving away 1 copy. To enter, all you have to do is be a subscriber of our channel and then make a comment. Now, if you're not a subscriber yet, you can click below to subscribe to the channel. Now, once a subscriber, for your comment for today's giveaway, let us know your favorite Eagle-Gryphon games released prior to 2015. Now, you have 1 week from when this video was launched to enter. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's Eagle-Gryphon Games vlog, and you can click the playlist link below me to see all the past vlogs, and we'll see you next week.